10 at 6.
So we shouldn't necessarily be considering them and looking at them as adults. They are simply not adults. They are still children.
People facing life in prison for a crime they committed as an 18-year-old will get the chance to be resentenced. It's a major decision by the Michigan Supreme Court. Good evening. I'm David Andrews.
And I'm Ann Emmerich. It means more than 250 cases in Michigan could be back in the courtroom. News 10's Riley Connell in studio tonight with reaction from law enforcement and advocates.
Yeah, Ann and David, Supreme Court justices came to their decision by taking a look at previous cases, and Friday ultimately ruling that life in prison without parole for 18-year-olds is cruel and unusual punishment, making it unconstitutional. A day of relief for prison reform advocates, while people representing victims grow concerned.
I was prosecuted as an 11-year-old child, and I was incarcerated
behind bars before he even knew how to drive for throwing rocks at recess and hitting his teacher. It wasn't the last time Hakeem Crampton found himself in the courtroom.
By the time I was 18, I was, convicted for a wrongful murder conviction in the state of Wisconsin.
Crampton's conviction was overturned. He says he's changed a lot since then, and that the same could be true for someone who did commit a crime at the age of 18.
Without giving, young people a real chance, an opportunity to grow up, we're condemning them at a time in their lives in which they're really developing.
Some might get a second chance. A new Michigan Supreme Court rule says people facing life in prison without parole for a crime they committed when they were 18 can be resentenced.
I've got to talk to the victims. I've got to talk to the witnesses.
Eaton County Prosecutor Doug Lloyd has 3 cases to review under the new rule. 2 of them are more than 2 decades old. He says that means digging up trauma for the families of the victims.
I've had to look at a wife who's had to suffer with the trauma that her husband's been gone since the 80s. And for her to say, what happens when I run into him at Myers?
No one should lose their life to an act of violence.
Crampton sympathizing with families, but he says this is about addressing the larger issue.
I want families to really be thinking about that these are children who have committed these offenses.
Doug Lloyd tells me what happens now is that prosecutors across the state will be reviewing cases in their respective counties, and if they decide to put them up for resentencing, there will be a hearing with testimony from all parties involved. Although any change to a prisoner's sentence will be up to the judge. Back to you guys.
Riley, thank you. A recent report from the Sentencing Project shows more than 3,500 inmates in Michigan are serving life sentences without the possibility of release.
Looking live over downtown Jackson.